Hey peeps, Pinklaw16 here on another video of, well, the memories of another expo. Yes, EB Expo 2015, and it came this year to Sydney. Again, I'm quite surprised on their most disappointing for games, but that's not the point. So let's talk about the things that happened at the EB Expo 2015 for me, which is basically the only way we can try out any sort of demos before some of these games release in weeks or months from now. So the first thing I did first off was I walked. It was a little bit farther than 2014, where its location was, but the layout of the area was like a merging of 2013 and 14. The big screen was like 2013, but the side portion was like 2014, with how it was structured with the Wii U booths and everything. So the first thing I did when I got there was I decided to play Yokai Watch. The big screen currently was playing Skylanders Supercharged or whatever the heck it was. But all these games had booths for private people. There was a lot of noise. The first thing I did was I played Yokai Watch, which was pretty well and through. I'm gonna tell you something though. A child who was there apparently thought it was Pokemon. Yeah, and I'm sure you're not surprised, but like I overheard a kid and his brother talking, saying how it's apparently Pokemon, and his older brother was saying, "No, it's not Pokemon." And I'm just surprised at how little it seemed to get through. After what I played, it doesn't seem too much like Pokemon at all. The demo was fine. I didn't get to finish it because basically in the demo it was like the Treehouse stream. You had to find 3 yokai and defeat them in battle with the 6 yokai you had on your team. Only problem was the last one was not being directed to by the red arrows that were supposed to navigate you on the bottom screen. On the bottom screen, there is a map that shows the general town area and a bunch of functions. There were red arrows leading to where your destinations were supposed to be. There was the 2 from the stream that I remember, but the third one had no arrow leading to it at all. The arrows would have led off screen to where your general direction was headed, but it didn't tell me where the last one was, so that's why I didn't finish it. The actual battle system, though, is totally automated, as shown in previous playthroughs. Yokai Watch is totally automated. Every creature, every yokai fights on its own. You just if you want it to launch a more powerful attack, you obviously play the little mini game after you tap its icon, and it launches its super mega ultra attack or whatever. Its soul ultimate thing, which is different for each one. I only managed to see 3 since my 3 at the front were doing pretty well, and I didn't think they would need to be switched out at all. But like, I didn't find the point of proceeding further. It's fun. I can see myself playing it. It's fun. I just need a direction. There wasn't any. There wasn't much of a direction. The dialogue was pretty kid friendly. If you've seen the Treehouse stream of Yokai Watch, you would understand what I'm talking about. But really, I it was not the most interesting thing out of the expo, however. But it is fun, and I probably will get it in December, since they announced a release date shortly before the expo came. And here's a picture I took of some of the merchandise. So from what I can see here, it looks like there's a lot of merchandise that's going to be coming. I definitely see that I would probably want the plushies. It seems there's also a mock watch, the table that was having the game was styled like the watch as seen in the artwork, just above what this case showed. There was a screen showing a trailer of the game repeatedly, and as you can see, there seems to be a lot of things here that people would probably be interested in once the stuff all launches on December. So yeah, it's not that it's very interesting. That's all you'll see. I then played Splatoon there. Wait, don't you have the game already? Yes, 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 I have Splatoon already. But that didn't stop me when I played Mario Kart 8 last year, and I already had the game then. So, yeah. Initially, I thought they were going to have the test fire build there. The test fire build from uh August, not the global test fire, the second test fire, because it would seem more demo like and people would be able to get into the game so easily. But after what I saw, that was proven to be false. They were hooking up actual copies of Splatoon on 4 consoles to these things. I'm not kidding. These were actual things because it showed the rotation, it showed the actual ranked modes. You had rank mode, you had a small selection of gear, which was already in the game. You had tons of weapons to choose from, which were in the game already, such as the NZAP 85, Inkbrush Nouveau, Octobrush, NZAP 85, Crack-On Splat Roller. I'm going to talk about the rollers in a second. And what definitely ticked me off as to noting this was definitely the actual copy of the game was seeing Japanese players completely obliterating these guys. The first bunch I saw, which was the console on the far right, there were 4 consoles. The first guy tried to play Turf War, which was at Urchin Underpass and Walleye Warehouse, along with the rank modes currently at Moray Towers and Bluefin Depot. I think the rank mode was Tower Control or Rainmaker. There was a distance meter I saw on someone else's screen, but this guy, when I saw him playing it, had like no idea how to play. I wanted to try and play so that I could prove to everybody, just like I did with Mario Kart 8, that how you play the game is not as it seems. And he was playing with my gun, the NZAP 85, not 85, 89. I used the 89 gun. So he was using that, and none of these people knew how to use their subs at all. There was no tutorial, so no one knew how to do anything. You were literally dumped into the game and expected to just play it with the dead console that you had with the actual game. I'm not kidding. These were actual, literally Splatoon saves of like L, Z, Emily. That's what the names were. I think I was L at one point with a Crack-On Splat Roller, but that's not what I'm going to talk about. This guy played Splatoon like a normal shooter. I've seen an E3 video where somebody played the original one like a regular shoot. This was even worse. He did not even dip into his ink at all, and the little kid next to him kept saying, use the roller, use the roller, and I'm definitely going to get into that. Don't worry about that. He ended up losing the match because Light Blue ended up totally losing out to the orange team full of Japanese people. Yeah, it was sad. I moved to another console to try and get onto the thing quicker, and obviously to prove that I'm a good player of Splatoon. Yeah. The second people that I saw playing Splatoon near me, I only saw a glimpse of the meter that I knew enough that it was a distance meter. I did not know if it was tower control or if it was Rainmaker. Please correct me if you were in that rotation today, because I'm recording this shortly after I'm done with it. I've been done with it. So if you were in the rotation of Urchin Underpass and Walloway Warehouse at Turf War and whatever rank mode it was for Moray Towers and Bluefin Depot, please explain what thing it was, because you were potentially playing against complete noobs, and you were possibly playing with complete noobs. There was someone in an English name, someone I don't particularly remember. I know what their gear was and their name was, but I'm not sure if you happen to be on. Someone named Luke managed to crush someone with a roller at home on their own save. This guy was wearing a golf visor, a Squid Girl dress, and cyan trainers. That's what it was, cyan trainers. So obviously he was a damage up spaz. I was having problems dealing with so many people with the damage ups. But like, yeah. So I managed to play the game at one point. I almost got to play with my gun, the NZAP 85, but these guys decided, let's continue the game. So I was playing with the crack-on splat roller. And it's generally a support weapon because of the squid beacon and the kraken being so support-like. It's not necessarily supposed to be your main attack sort of thing. So I had to play with that against an entire team of noobs, because when I looked at their levels later, they were full of level 8s, 9s, and 4s. Yeah. I throughout the match, I was like, how do these people even life? I kept crushing them so easily with the roller, you could swear I was a level 50 player or something. I'm actually level 33. Help me. So I recorded some footage. I was aiming at the ground in some of these footage things, so if I've cut out the video just to save yourself the pity of looking at everyone's feet. I didn't want to just go around doing the whatevers. So here you go, some audio from the thing.
And as expected, just like last year, Splatoon is here again. So it appears they're using actual copies of Splatoon. So people all across the world are playing with people at an expo right now. Really, they are. Well, really in Japan a lot.
But it's weird, I meant to say. Apparently my footage was very inaudible. How very nice. Yeah, I managed to do something. Now, about the rollers I kept mentioning. You would have no idea how many people overhyped the rollers when they were over there. You think people complaining about the rollers being overpowered when the game first came out was annoying? Try being at an expo where every single child and even adult around you consistently thinks that rollers are the best and nothing else should ever overpower them. Coming as someone who has had the game since launch day and realizing the strategies against rollers, which people performed in their own living rooms against people at the expo, which is the general strategy. If you see a roller coming towards you, back off and shoot. It was so ridiculous. You could hear children every single time saying, pick the roller, rollers are the best, runner 1 Splatoon. You could basically count it as the MLG Splatoon and everything here at this expo. Every single person was mentioning the rollers were the best in everything, when they have their own weaknesses as well. People not knowing how to flick them and all. I was only so good with the crack-on splat roller because I've had experience with the roller in my game. Everyone kept getting crushed with the darn thing, yet rollers are the best because we roll over people. Oh yes, because shooters don't do similar things, And especially with the EB staff hyping up the rollers to ridiculous degrees, it just got out of hand. And since I went on the last day of this 3-day thing, which is usually the family day, which is usually where a lot of kids come, don't be surprised if in the next couple of months, when Splatoon gets an influx of players, that you start seeing rollers coming up everywhere, because people have no idea that they're not the best, unlike the general consensus kept thinking it was. every single child there, every single person kept thinking the rollers are the best when they are not. They are just as good as any other weapon, really. Even with the carbon roller deco that came out recently with the Seeker Rush, it is not the best. Okay? It has its own weaknesses too. It only aims towards enemies. It's not like it's good for turf wars too much. And especially when it first came out, the first rotation it was in maps where it didn't work so well in. Camp Triggerfish, Flounder Heights, anyone? A roller with Seekers is not going to do so well in such maps because of the separation and the verticality of the maps I just mentioned. Yet everyone at this expo kept constantly explaining, rollers are the best, rollers are the best. It was grating to hear, honestly. So aside from that, before I went to Triforce Heroes, I decided to take a look at the big screen, because now they were going to play with their 5th copy of Splatoon on the big screen, just like they did with Mario Kart 8 2 years prior, and they were also allowing people to play the game. You know what was sad? They asked people who were A's or S ranks in Splatoon, when the entire audience was not paying attention and or probably wasn't at that rank. And I'm not at A or S rank myself, but I'm still better than anybody in that place who kept screaming rollers, rollers, rollers the whole time, including the staff. Because you could hear it over their microphones. They kept saying over and over rollers were the best. And when they asked when they were putting Splatoon to live stream this against people worldwide who were playing in their living rooms, yeah, or in their rooms. It doesn't matter. They had their own copies of Splatoon at home playing against these people, and they even acknowledged it. Australia against the world, they said, even though, issues. So when they asked for the A's and S ranks, it was around the 2nd person, so it wasn't so newbie. And he at least knew what he was doing, and I think he won the match. I'm not sure. I have footage that I recorded. I'll try and keep the thing to a minimum here, but I had a drunk hand. I also commentated really close to my camera. I apologize if my voice is exceedingly loud because my camera was being a douchehead.
Alrighty, 10 seconds to go. Let's go roll up. Cover that turf. There it is. Look at that.
People keep thinking rollers are the best in this place. It's really sad.
And let's see.
People keep thinking rollers are the best in this place when they're not.
Hard at the end there. We had it for most of the match, but just rolled. Well done. No, round of applause for young man.
And see, it's just proven.
Alright.
You can't be serious. Huh, he's only level 8. Green Vispa.
Alrighty, this young lady, good luck. We're going to play some Splatoon on the big screen. Lots of games in the booth if you want to come in and play. Alright, that's it. Let's cover some of that
They're
ground.
not playing with motion controls, by the way. Holy hell. Who doesn't play with motion controls in Splatoon?
Yeah.
Might I mention that the actual consoles, the consoles that were being tested, were actually, yes, they were using motion controls. The one on the big screen was only using the stick controls because rollers. That's pretty obvious itself.
Very nice. That's it. Cover that pink. Oh, we got someone chasing you down.
Gosh, it sounds like that esport thing. Oh dear. Why does that guy have a damage up shirt on him? Oh wait, he has a roller, that makes sense. What is she doing? This kid's stalling. Oh dear. Oh, super jumping. And that's how you stop shooters. I mean rollers. That's why rollers aren't the best. Wait a minute. How do these guys have it at level 8? This isn't a test fire build, this is the actual game. How do people have octo shots at level 10? This is the actual game. They're playing with people from Japan. There's no way you would be able to unless it was the actual game. So how come they have octo shot replicas in the match? This kid's not using the oh yeah, well, it's not a very good area to use it. And she's just waltzing around the opponent's ink. Yeah, that's a surefire way to get dead. That's... Who has the who's that kid? Why does he have the off-the-shot replica? I don't have it, and I'm at level 33.
Go. Oh, unlucky.
Flag killed.
And don't forget, you can roll over. Whoa. Don't forget, you can roll over the other opponent with your roller. That's what's great about this weapon. You can put it down and roll. Go. Oh, unlucky.
Yeah.
Super jump.
Super jump into. Oh god, they're getting spawn camped. Oh darn. Wait a minute. How many are on? Oh my god. Have two people disconnected? Oh no, they haven't disconnected. They're just really bad.
Oh,
how do these people play?
You got any like A or S rank Splatooners here? Real good ones?
I'm not A or S rank, but I know how to play the game.
Enough for him to make a decent commentary out of it, you know, like the many esport things that we've seen of Splatoon over the last few months. Yes, really. Yeah, him just asking for A and S ranks. There you go. There's your footage. Yeah. I got a few more. My hand was hopefully not as drunk in these ones. I haven't checked the footages of this commentary thing yet. Haha.
Show us how it is done. So we're expecting good things.
Okay, so this guy's supposedly a guy who's played Splatoon before, so he should know how to control a roller. Thank God. Hopefully, he knows.
Australia, all around the world there. 4-on-4 turf war.
Yes, because we have the actual game. Underpass on Mulai Warehouse and Moray Towers on Bluefin Depot. That's what the rotation is right now. I think it's flat zones. I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think no. It could be Tower Control or Rainmaker because it had a thing on one of the consoles before.
Really speed around. Look at this. Covering the turf.
Ah, he knows. Thank God.
There we go. He's got his sub weapon already.
Oh, that's not. They just called an ink strike a sub weapon. They just called an ink strike a sub weapon. Holy hell! You've got to be kidding me!
There it is, KO number 1 by our resident pro.
Well, at least you know how to play the game.
Oh, he's good. He's good. He gets another one. That's 2.
It doesn't matter how many kills you've got. Yeah, he's somehow fawning over the amount of kills they've got. Yeah, right in the middle of the action. Too bad, buddy. You got smashed by a Japanese kid. I'm still confused about that octa shot, by the way. Oh, somebody shot their base. Who thought that was a good idea? This kid apparently owns Splatoon, so he should know. Help me. Huh? Is something happened? Oh dear. Oh, he knows his surroundings, thank God. It's a Seeker. That's a sub-weapon, not a special weapon. We can't see it because he's aimed it somewhere where there's lots of pink.
Alright, make it a comeback.
Because it's pink versus marigold at the moment. Oh, thank God he knows. Oh, thank God he knows. Oh. Lag killed.
But his teammate defends him.
Of course, because that's what happens.
30 seconds left.
I do that myself. No. Get out of the... if you can go around them.
Here we go, there's one KO.
See? That's why you don't stay at your base. If they are there, then go around them.
Stop, 1 second.
Well, yeah, because they've spawn camped, because they're dirty. Oh, they are going to get smashed by that level 44 child. They are going to get smashed. There's a level 44 in this room, in a room full of level 8s and 16s. Anyone find the matchmaking terrible? They're using stick controls. How sad is that? I want to play, and I want to play with motion controls to prove that you can play with motion controls. Indeed.
You're on the roll this time, which is a nice...
You're running out of ink, girl. Doesn't look like this kid's going. Everyone knew how to avoid that. Don't worry, there's a kid who literally jumped off the side. Oh good, he knows how to flick. I wish I could prove to everybody that I'm good again. Now that's a good way to aim it. There's no way they're gonna win this right now. Blue's got a lot of ground. Yes, there's a lot of blue, and I think they've got too much. Doesn't matter if there's one. That's not the point of Splatoon. Trolls are bugging me.
Not quite. It's gonna be close.
It's not going to be close. They have way too much blue on their field.
So yes, that's all that happened with Splatoon, at least. They were still playing shortly after, before they went to Animal Crossing's interior designing game, whatever. But that's as far as they went with Splatoon, as far as I was concerned, since I didn't want to hear any more roller fangasming, since there was way too much of it. So the last game I went to go play was Zelda Triforce Heroes. And by the way, the staff members seemed pretty surprised about the supposed region lock thing. And since it's on Nintendo's website that they say you can play with friends on your friends list, I'd be pretty suspicious about that guy who played the game, alright? He might have just had an option off or something, and is now spreading false information. Because it doesn't seem like Nintendo to region lock an online game like that, especially since the staff member at EB was very surprised. So I had to watch some guys play it before I got onto it. I ended up getting paired with 2 people. Also, this staff member, who was a girl by the way, a woman, she kept calling hearts lives. And I'm not even a big Zelda fan myself. I'm trying to be one, but somewhat. But even I know that hearts are not lives. I'm pretty sure the 2 guys I was paired with kept thinking the same thing about the encouragement we were getting. So anyway, I got paired with 2 guys and we were to play the game. It was sort of like a performance, but sort of not. It was a small thing where there were 3 3DSs hooked up to each other to a bigger screen, which I was using. And you start the game up, you vote for a level, and you go to the level that you're gonna go to. You pick the clothing you're gonna wear. I was the red Link. How very, very, very coincidental. And we went to what was called as the forest. The controls are not all that different from A Link Between Worlds at all. And I own that game, so I know exactly what I'm talking about with that. Except you press the A button to hold your teammates in the totem formation. If you're in the middle, tough it. You ain't gonna get any controls at all. But if you're at the top, you're responsible for throwing and doing attacks. And if you're at the bottom, you're responsible for aiming the person at the top and the middle. The middle person is basically just height fodder. He's not there for anything. That you don't do anything if you're the middle person. So basically, you go through a few puzzles, which are actually fairly fun and easy to solve when you're working together as a team. And these 2 guys were actually fairly good. Then once you get to the last bit, which was a boss room for us, we were low on hearts, so we ended up losing quite a few lives. If one of your teammates loses a life, the entire team's dead and you have to restart with another life. So, like, the first boss was a big electrified, I don't know what they're called, but they're the first, They're the electrified enemies that look like they're a clone of the very easy ones in A Link Between Worlds. If you have the name for them, you can tell me, but that's what they were. And it was a giant one of those with a big red hit me spot as its brain. Sometimes it merges it into the ground. Sometimes it becomes a normal size thing, which needs the totem to hit. And it also has a very deadly electric attack. Plus, you can't touch it because it's electrified. So, we managed to get through it in the end with our last life, with the staff member egging us on, thinking we were going to lose our lives and hearts, which were apparently lives to her. So, I walked away from that feeling very pleased. Here's a audio clip of my please. And I said it.
So Zelda Triforce Heroes is very fun. Can't say much
More I can say was what I was trying to say there. I just walked away from that feeling extremely happy because these two guys knew what they were doing. They knew exactly how seemingly puzzles were solved, how to defeat enemies. It just seemed like they were smart. And like in other circumstances, like since it's a game where you work together, it was very rewarding to work together with two guys that knew what they were doing. So, yeah, that's just my memories. Yeah, not very long, except for the 30 minutes that you've had to spend here. Where? So, anyway, before I ramble on too much, see y'all, have a good day, peace.